Hey, Luke here with CatsandCarp.com, and I've had people asking me about my rigs and which rigs I use for catching catfish. So I'm going to go through and show you my tackle box, show you my rigs, show you how kind of the different variations and why and when I use them. This is a catfish rig I use on my boat. Okay, so this is my go-to catfish rig. Essentially, what I've got is I've got a circle hook. I've got about 12 to 18 inches of leader. I've got a big swivel. I've got a bead, and then I've got some sort of sliding lead. I love circle hooks. If you're putting a rod in a rod holder, use a circle hook, okay? And the reason why is circle hooks, you don't set the hook. The fish sets itself. So if you're not holding the rod in your hands, if you're not there ready to strike and set the hook, you want a hook that's going to do it on its own. So if you're using rod holders, use circle hooks. I use 4/0 circle hooks for small fish under 5 pounds. I tend to use 6/0 for things around 10 pounds. I go up to 8/0 for fish in the 15 to 40 pound range. And if I've got a legitimate chance at catching 30, 40 on up fish, I use 10/0 circle hooks. So that's kind of how I choose the size. I really like the Gamakatsu circle hooks, but they only make up to a size 8/0. So if I'm going with the 10/0, then I tend to go with the owner hooks, and those seem to be working pretty good. How much leader to choose? It doesn't make a ton of difference. Anything between about 10 to 18 inches seems to be all about the same. The only thing about the swivel is you want a swivel that's strong enough for your gear. I tend to buy these really huge, like 100-pound test swivels just because. Then you put the bead above the swivel. This is really important because you want that inline lead, that sliding lead, to hit and not stick. Sometimes with the knots and the holes, what'll happen is the inline lead will go and jam, the knot from the swivel will jam into the hole in the inline lead, and then it'll stick and it won't swivel, okay? It'll kind of get jammed in there. The bead keeps that from happening. Additionally, it keeps from wear and tear being put on your knot. With the leads, there's two ways to do your lead. One is to put an inline lead, and the other is to use a slider with a little clasp that attaches the lead. I use inline leads in lakes, and I use the slider with the clasp in rivers. The reason for this is in rivers, your currents are always different. You know, you move to a different spot, you have a different current. So you're constantly wanting to adjust your lead and use different types of lead for different type of current situations. In lakes, you don't have that problem. I find that the sliders with the clasps tend to get tangled more often when you're casting and fishing, so I try to avoid them if I can get away with it. In lakes, I can get away with it. In rivers, not so much. So if you're fishing in current, use a slider. If you're fishing in lakes, use an inline lead.
Okay, so some people asked to see my tackle box, and here it is. This is the Shimano Baraja tackle binder. This is what I use for my catfishing rigs on my boat. It's got everything I need in it. So I've got a bunch of pre-tied up rigs, 4/0, 6/0, 8/0, 10/0 bigger. I've got some swivels here. I've got sliders. I've got loose hooks. I've got a thing of beads. It stores a little bit of everything. It's great. I even got my material, my fluorocarbon for tying leaders. Yeah, just really pretty much everything you need. Some leads. It's a great little system. It's nice and tidy and keeps all of your rigs from getting too tangled up. Love it a lot. If you like that video, check out some of our other videos, including how to snell a hook and my top 8 catfish baits. If you like what you see, don't forget to hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.